Okay. All right. Perfect. All right, successful nurse coaches. It is Shelby here today, and I'm here with the wonderful and beautiful Sheila Ames to do a 20-minute previous client interview to paint a picture of what successful nurse coaches are doing in their private practice, to show you how it can be done, to be an example for the rest of us, and also to just like broaden our community and our network so that we, I think one of the most beautiful things about nurse coaching is that we can develop a really tight knit to refer out. So after watching this interview with Sheila, if you know someone who needs her services, or if you yourself need her services, do not hesitate to reach out. That is what we're all here for. But Sheila is a health and wellness and spirituality coach. She helps bridge the gap between spirituality and wellness so that women can tap deeper into their purpose and show up as powerful. Do you call them priestesses? That word always sticks with me whenever you used it in the mentorship, but they can further step into their purpose and into their power. And Sheila is like, just from knowing her through the collective and through our mentorship, she has been just such a gem to get to know. You are one of the leaders in our community, and I'm so excited for you to share your story with our group. So if you would like to kick us off and just give us the basics. Where are you from? When did you graduate the collective? All the things.
Okay. Thank you, Shelby. I feel privileged and honored that you actually asked me to do this. So thank you for that. And towards the beginning, it was just amazing to hear you say that Sheila, a successful nurse coach, like, I'm in that category. That's so cool. And I'm so honored to be able to say that, because it's definitely been a hard journey. But a little background. So I live in Northern California in Mendocino County, the gateway to the Redwoods. It's so beautiful. About a couple-hour drive north of San Francisco. And I graduated their Nurse Coach Collective in December of 2020, before I graduated, because I'd completed all the program before. I was motivated, I was excited, I was doing this thing, and officially opened my business in January 12th, the first new moon of the new year was my official grand opening date for my business. I've had a business name change because of trademarking issues. I'm now Ames Alchemy Coaching. So that's a little bit about my background.
Oh, I love that. Ames Alchemy. It always just works out. It sounds so good whenever there's an alliteration to it. It just perfectly done, Sheila. Yeah, gosh, I remember being inside the collective and you being like, I need to start now. I need to get this off the ground. I know that it's going to be private practice. Like, I need to do this today. And if you don't mind just sharing a little bit of like what created that urgency to get going as soon as possible.
Well, it didn't start that way. I think probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I very first looked at the Nurse Coach Collective, and holistic nursing was definitely something up my alley because I like to live more of a holistic approach. But it wasn't until COVID hit, and I have a type of a primary immune deficiency. It's not autoimmune. So as opposed to autoimmune being an overproduction of the immune system, mine's an underproduction. So I wasn't able to work out in the nurse setting through COVID. I was on medical leave. I received state disability for a short period of time. And just before Christmas, I was cut off instantaneously from that short-term disability, and then shortly after that let go from my employer with full intentions of returning. But having gone through the collective, the more that I learned about coaching and what it is and what it's about, the more it was just like, this is me. This is so me, which I know, like I hear that all the time with people that are currently in the collective, people that have graduated the collective. It's like, oh my gosh, this is me. Like, this is what I have to do. And when you know that you have a life purpose, it grabs you and you reel it in, and you're just with it, and you're like, okay, this is happening. I don't know where the hell I'm going, but I'm doing the thing and it feels right. And then you're on the end of this line being caught by this fisherman. No, I'm just kidding. But but no, maybe I am on a line. I am on a line being reeled in towards the place that I need to be. Just hopefully someone doesn't gobble me up, at least not immediately.
Yeah, let's not get to the end. Yeah, let's not get to the end too quickly. I can really appreciate like not knowing where you're going, but just trusting that this is the path for you, right? Like I think as nurses, we get really hung up on the details and the perceived safety that comes with a job and all of these barriers that we put in the way of stepping into the role we're supposed to be in and into our purpose. And while that journey was tough for you, like I don't want to paint a picture of like one day you just woke up and you're like, oh, I'm going to be a successful nurse coach now. But like you chose it, and you chose it for days and for weeks and for months. And like, that was super intentional. So, yeah, I just really, I'm similar of like, I have a nudge, I'm going to follow my nudge until I hit a really hard dead end. And it's something that I admire a lot in other people because I know it's really, really tough.
It's scary as shit. It really is. I mean, it is, because we like those benefits. We like the PTO. We like the, time and, you want time and you want to give me time and a half plus $200, and insurance and retirement and all these beautiful things, and I shared with you my primary immune deficiency, and I received $24,000 infusions every 4 weeks. So that was scary because I can't afford $24,000 every 4 weeks. Fortunately, I have insurance that's paying for it now, and I'm doing okay with that. But you all are nurses. I receive IVIG, so you're familiar with that. But yeah, the bills are pretty profound. It was scary, but I trusted in the universe, and the universe is providing, and it's still providing. And here I am still receiving my infusions and still nurse coaching.
Yes. Gosh, there's so much power in what you just said. I just want to like take a second and let it sink in for everybody listening, because as nurses, I feel like we get trapped in the box a lot of time, like, oh, I carry the insurance for my family, so I can't quit my job, or I have a medical diagnosis that requires $24,000 worth of treatment every few weeks. Like the power, like, I just hope that everybody can see that like Sheila figured it out, right? Like a lot of those decisions might've been made for you, but you figured out how to still get your infusions. You figured out how to still put food on the table. You figured out how to do all of these things. And nurses are really smart, really, really smart. You can absolutely figure it out. It's just a problem that we get to solve when being an entrepreneur. And yeah, I just have so much admiration that you committed to the leap, because rationally you had every reason to like stay right there on the ledge, just looking down.
Mm-hmm. Well, and hiring you, that was definitely a big leap right there, because there I was living on cash aid assistance, which here in California for my teenager and I was living on $600 a month plus food stamps. And so that doesn't even pay the basic bills. And I knew I had to work with you. It was a knowing, it was an intuition. It was a deep pull, and I knew that I had to get this going. And, sure, the price tag was like gulp, especially living on, $600 a month, but the universe aligned for me again, and my tax return came like right in time. And I'm like, boom, like, okay, it was in my hand, boom, and it's in your hands now. So like, I'm going to make the most of this, because that amount of money that I paid for you is worth probably 20 times or more times than what it would be worth to somebody who's living on, a higher income. And I felt like I had to make my return investment, and I did.
You
It
did.
plus $100. I made my return investment and plus $100. So I made money off it.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I remember, like, full transparency. I remember proposing to you for the mentorship, fully expecting for you to tell me no. Like, I was ready. I was going to let you off the hook, right? Like, that's my weakness as a coach right there. Cause you had shared with me your financial struggles up until that point. But I knew that if you were going to be in that space, that changing the price or making it more affordable, like, would not have been in best service for you. And seeing you, like, soar, it felt selfishly good on my end, just to see you create and see you do. Because as a coach, you always, I mean, I still struggle with, like, oh, did I make the right call there? Or did I? But I know that what you and I worked on in those 12 weeks, like, that is one drop in the pond, but the ripples will go on forever, and you get to reap the benefit from all of that work. It was amazing.
Can I ask you a question? I know this is an interview, you are interviewing me.
Yeah.
So looking back then, being okay with letting me go off the hook, now knowing what I've done with that time, if you could go back knowing what you know now, how would you have coached me differently through that at that time when I was doing that? Or would you have coached me differently through that proposal?
Yeah, no, I mean, from my memory of that, I think I made the proposal to you and I said, like, I know that this is going to be a really big stretch and a really big number for you. But I also know that, like, this is what it takes to be in this space, and that this price is still in service to you. And while I believed those words, there's always just this, like, little voice of, like, oh, but. And after watching you just crush it, and when I mean crush it, I mean, like, it wasn't easy for you every day, right? But you, like, showed up, and I think there was even, like, week 4 or week 5 where you talked about, like, or maybe closer to the end, 7 or 8, week 7 or 8, when you was like, I'm still not playing full out. I'm here to out myself, and I'm here to play even more full out than I was before. Like, it just sealed the deal for me that I made the right call. So coaching you actually helps me be a more powerful coach moving forward, of, like, Sheila has set the bar, like, pew, way up here. We can't even see it. So, like, I have no doubt that when other people in similar situations, while they might have a different dynamic to their money story, like, I still know that it'll always be the right call. Because when it's a really big stretch, really big action happens on the other side of that. And so, yeah, that's my takeaway from
I think it
watching
depends
all
on
that
how
unfold.
bad the person wants it to.
Also true. Also true. Like, I think you and I are very similar in, like, this had to work, right? Private practice had to work. And to be honest, Sheila, you could have hired me or you could have hired anybody, and you probably would have made it work, right? You would have, whatever system, whatever method, whatever advice they gave you, I can imagine that you would probably run with it. And I mean, I would have done the same thing. I feel really lucky that I hired an awesome coach when I first graduated the collective, and I just lived and breathed everything she ever told me. And I did exactly what she said, and it worked. And I think that you have the same mentality to where, like, this has to work. Like, what other option is there for me? And that is a big part of it, because just investing the money sometimes isn't enough for everybody. And I've seen that play out as well. But everyone's on their own timeline, and I can appreciate that too.
Well, and I'd have to, share, I'm actually still sheltering in place because I don't react to most vaccines with my diagnosis. So I still have to pretend like it was a year ago, pretty much. I go to the grocery store, max once a week, get my stuff. That's my big excitement. Go home, get back into okay, what can I do today for nurse coaching? Okay, I'm going to create a video and put it out there, or I'm going to, whatever it may be, whatever I'm inspired, whatever creative passion pulls me. And
yeah, absolutely. And I think that, again, I can't over say this enough. Like, your circumstance is not an easy one, right? It has a lot of very real barriers, but you are making it work for you. And it is really, really cool to watch unfold. But we have a few more minutes here, and I want to make sure that we get to talk about what you wanted to talk about on this client interview, which was creating something when it feels like that you have nothing at all. And I kind of just want to like hand over the mic to you and tell me more about what you mean by that.
Well, like you said, I kind of am the epitome of having come from nothing, pretty much. As you had learned, you know, I was living on very, very, very little. And, you know, I could have stayed stuck in that space, and I could have fought to become long-term disabled, which with my diagnoses, I very well could and could make that happen, but that would have made me have to halt at a certain level of income that I couldn't go over. And I want more than that. I want more than that in my life. You know, I want to become 6-7 figures. Like, I got goals, I've got dreams, and it truly does take a strong belief in yourself. And that is so not easy. And that's where at times you carried me. You believed in me. And I'm going to start getting emotional now. Damn it. I know I'm the one that's known for that. Because it's so hard when you're living in a space that you really, truly, truly are struggling. And we all have our struggles. And, you know, don't compare your struggles to mine or say, you know, oh, that I've got it much worse and yours is nothing, because your struggles are real for you and my struggles are real for me. And we're all on our own timelines, our own journeys, and they're all true and real struggles, right? But to be able to get out of a struggle and not stay in a rut, you have to pick your ass up and go. Where you're going to go, I don't know. But, you know, you have to believe in something, even if you're just believing that you're just going to go downstairs for the day, or that you're going to make one call to one client for, you know, potential, you know, request for a deep dive client or whatever it is. It's a step. And then that step becomes 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, you know, hopefully. And some days you may only get one step, and some days you may get 50, you know. So that's the beauty of it, is just saying, okay, I don't know what it is, but I'm just going to at least take the one step, and I'm going to believe in that one step. So belief. And if you can't believe in yourself, call somebody who does. Call Shelby. Oh, Shelby.
Oh, Shelby. Oh, Sheila, that was some really insightful wisdom there of one step turns into 50. And if you can't, you know, just choosing that one step and believing in that one step is the first part. And yeah, that was straight fire. Thank you for sharing that.
I did not plan on that one. That just came to me at the moment, actually.
As usual, best things do. Oh my gosh. If there was one thing that you could tell Sheila 4 months ago, what month are we in? July. So in March, what would that one thing be?
You know, I think the hardest part of struggling is not knowing for sure that your efforts really are going to come back to you in some way or another. Now, I'm not at a place where I'm totally financially self-sufficient yet. I'm still on cash aid assistance. I have had like 4 or 5 clients, and I'm putting some of that money back into the business. And, you know, it also helped, you know, pay for you as well. And there's some other things that I'm doing along with my business that costs money. But I'm a hell of a lot better than I was 4 months ago. Way better. 4 months ago, I'm like, I can't even pay my rent. Remember that? Like, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, especially when I had a client like back out mid-contract on me. And that was like heart, like just, oh, you know, talk about feeling low. So what I would tell myself is, yeah, you are going to make it. You know, it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be instantaneous. And no, you're not going to be 6 figures in 4 months and 6 months, you know. but you're going to be in a much better space, and all of your work is going to become something, and people are going to learn from you, and people are going to trust you more, because that's what I'm really realizing as I'm building my own community is trust takes time. You can't just boom, hey, guess what? I'm a nurse coach. Like, trust me, call me. They really need to
Yeah.
watch you for a while. They really need to see who you are, your essence, your personality. What are you about? Like, are you a trust? I mean, especially if you're doing a lot of your marketing on social media, like you could be anybody from anybody, but your
Mhm.
personality and your essence and your aura and all of those beautiful, wonderful everythings come through in video, and your voice and the way that you speak and the way that, you come across, and people really get to know you more than you might think. And that's what's really building. And I'm just now starting, instead of me having to reach out like, hey, I'm Sheila, would love to do a deep dive session with you, blah, 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 blah. I'm getting people coming to me now like, hey, I see that you're a coach and I've watched some of your videos and I'm interested to hear more. So
Heck
then, and
yeah.
that's really fulfilling, that like, oh, I have like admirers and people that like who I am, and like they want to seek me out and want to see and learn more about me, and what can I offer them, and how can I help improve their life. So that's what I would want myself to know, all of that.
Heck yeah. People are reaching out. That is amazing. That's the best feeling when you're like, oh, I'm not going to have to hustle this hard for the rest of my life. Like people will find me. That's one
And
of,
one of them was my old college counselor from nursing school.
oh, really?
She's
So
got
cool.
And she just signed on. I just had my first session with her yesterday, actually. And she's got big goals, big dreams. She's one that I spoke to in the group, actually, about the $3,300 contract
Yeah.
and how that went down, and her response about her thanking me for charging so much, because it's making it more real and more impactful for her
Yeah.
to do the work. So
Oh,
that was her.
so good.
Yeah.
So good. Sheila, holy smokes. Oh, I could talk to you just for probably another good hour and a half here if we had the time in this space, but I so appreciate you sharing your story and giving us your time today and just giving us a little peek behind the curtain of what is going on in your life and what's present for you, and inspiring others around you to do what you are doing, to create what you are creating. Like I said, if you know anyone that needs Sheila, or if you yourself are like, hey, I might need a deep dive with her just to see what it's about, feel free. I'm going to offer you up here, but feel free to reach out to Sheila. You can message her here on Facebook. And yeah, any last remarks you want to leave the group with before we hop off?
It's a journey. It's a journey. Choosing to be a nurse coach isn't just about choosing a career. It's choosing a lifestyle for yourself. And it's a journey. It's me choosing me. I'm choosing myself. I'm choosing my overall wellness, because if I'm not working on myself, who the hell am I to work on someone else to help them achieve wellness? So I have to make myself a priority. This is my journey. And I'm sharing this with others through, in all kinds of ways, through this interview, through my videos, through my different offerings that I do on social media, so it's a journey. Enjoy it. Love it. It's a beautiful journey.
Mm, perfectly stated, Sheila. God, you nailed it. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
And yeah, keep doing your thing, girl. You're doing amazing. I can't. Yeah, I'm like, All right, Sheila. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.